good morning, and even more good mornings. Hope all is well. Everybody's ready for a good Friday of trading. I am Jamie Irvin. Let's jump in and see what we got going. You got Europe mostly up. FTSE is the only one down, 0.53%. Asia mostly up. ASX 200 is the only one down, 0.87%. For the US, the Dow Jones, it's the only one down, 0.25%. NASDAQ futures rise on Netflix pops. As Netflix pops on strong earnings, the VIX is currently down 1.36%. That is what we got for the VIX for right now. So that is happening. This morning before the open, we had a bunch of banks step up to the plate. American Express was in there. We had talked about that. Procter & Gamble, not a bank, was a part of that mix as well for this morning. So this is interesting. But after close last night, that was a Netflix, right? Final Forex Factory report for the week. 8:30, we had orange folder building permits, neutral impact to the economy. Yellow folder was housing starts, neutral impact there. At 12:10, we have FOMC member Waller speaking. That's an orange folder. And then the federal budget balance is a yellow folder over here. So we have that going on. That's tentative. No particular time frame currently associated with that. All right. Here's the investing.com numbers, which, of course, I can't speak for everybody else, but I do kind of sort of like the investing.com numbers a little bit more because I appreciate the extra detail that's not reported on Forex Factory. I like Forex Factory, but I can appreciate these numbers as well. That little bit more in-depth information. So we got the building permits month over month was a little below what was projected. Month over month for September, that was 1 star. The building permits for September was 2 stars. That's a negative impact, slightly down. Housing starts month over month for September, higher than expected. Well, this is negative impact, but it registers as higher than expected. 2 stars. The housing starts was green, so that was good. That was 2 stars. Bostic speaking at 9:30 was 2 stars. FOMC member Kashkari speaks in 11 minutes. That's also 2 stars. Yeah. 2 stars. Atlanta Fed GDP now Q3 is coming up in 41 minutes. Waller is speaking. Fed Waller is speaking. That's 2 stars. Bostic speaking. That's at 12:10. 12:30. Bostic is speaking. That's 2 stars. And then we got the Baker Hughes oil rig count. Baker Hughes total rig count. That starts at 1 o'clock. That's 2 stars there. At 2 o'clock, we got the federal budget balance for September. 2 stars. We got a bunch of 2-star events. And then we have the CFTC speculative net positions. And that comes in at 3:30. That's aluminum, copper, corn, gold, NASDAQ 100, natural gas, S&P 500. The silver, soybean, wheat, that's that run that we do. And crude oil, gold, NASDAQ 100, and S&P 500 of that run are the ones that are the 2-star events there. So depending on how you look at it, so that's 3:30. I might have said 2:30. So 3:30 for us, that's about power. That's power hour time frame. So if you put any credence to this, you may want to at least take a look and see what's going on around that time. Good morning, Earl. Good morning, Ward. Good morning, Raymond. Good morning, Lady T. Let's take a look at our Mancini numbers. See what Mancini got to say for today. After a 70-point squeeze, yesterday was a chop day in SPX. 58.18 was overnight as posted, and we held it exactly. I posted 58.32. 58.32. I had to reclaim the trigger 58.40 here now. Plan today, OPEX, don't overtrade. 58.32, 58.42 is chop. If it keeps 58.47, 58.55 and higher is live. If 58.32 fails, we dip to 58.18. 58.32. 58.32. This is the SPX chart. I'm going to mark the first 15-minute candle. And then we're going to put 58.32 on the SPX chart. Right? It did a tiny bit of a gap up today. Not much, but definitely enough. Right here. Okay. All righty. Buyer's gap, gapped up. Yeah, of course, it has not broken out yet. 58.32. I see Psych Y. Good morning to you as well. Happy Friday to you as well. Let's do it. 58.32. I'm going to drop that on there for our Mancini number. So 58.32. That's what I'm looking at there. We'll do the price and that on the right. And I'll put this one in red. Now we also had a number above that we can also take a look at. Right? So if it keeps 58.47, 58.55 and higher is live. Why not? 58.47, 58.55. It's already there, really. 58.55 is right here. So we know it can go higher than this based on the numbers that we have been given thus far. Right? Good morning, Lisa Henry. All righty. So this is what we got going on. No breakout quite yet. This is what happened on yesterday. Gap up, and then the buyers really pushed this up on that first candle yesterday. And then what happened to your boy? Right here, when it came back down into that gap, man, buyers showed up again. They showed up 3 times right here. But if you notice, even on today's candle this morning in this zone, there's still some buyers sitting up in there. This is a buyer's gap because the buyers pushed this up. So we had an intense force of orders happening. SPY. If you have any tickers you want looked at, now would be the time to drop them in. All right, let's see what SPY talking about. Yes, SPY was... We're at all-time highs, of course. I'm always skeptical of these type of formations where you're at a high, but then you have like a, technically you would naturally think this is going to be a seller zone since we're at all-time highs. But this formation right here, leg in, base, leg out, that's normally a buyer zone formation. That's when I'm used to seeing stuff like that. So this should be interesting to see how the rest of this plays out over the next week or so. But obviously the S&P is running up, broke past its most recent highs, right? And it is still trying to do its thing. So we're going to see what the rest of the morning has in store for us. All right. I would not even consider even looking to get into anything quite yet, just to be on the safe side. I will still give that a little bit of time, but I will check to see what's going on over here. This is Russell 2000. And this is not, of course, broken out yet. It also gapped up this morning, such as SPX did. And let me see. There you go. So we're going to mark the top and bottom of this. It is ugly. It's not a straight line at all. Sorry. All right, people. I don't have the numbers for the for our November. Or should I start listing where we at in terms of we were at in the 60, was it $60? $60 each, something like that. I'm interested in seeing what the newest chart your way numbers are. We're gonna put this here for our gap. Boom. Watch and see what happens. Alrighty. And so let me see what I did yesterday. When I canceled this alert and just put an alert on here, so I'll know when it breaks above, at or above, will be bullish. At or below would be bearish. Try to keep that as simple as possible. All right, then let me know when it breaks down past that. Be something to look at, but of course, this is providing support right now. So we shall see. We got Google on our list of requests. So let's take a look at Google. I'm going to also put on here this line here because we have had some activity on the 15-minute chart at this price. Same as here. All right, the same as here. So we'll at least acknowledge some of these areas that we see. Price has been doing its thing. So when we come back to the chart, we'll automatically know what's going on. I'm gonna activate this. All right, let's check out Google. GOOG. Let's see what Google is doing. For those not in the know, looks like on a monthly chart. Whoops, not that one. This one. Not that one. This one. Clear this draw set. Google's doing a nice little run up. It did a bit of a retrace. And when it did, look what it did. Look what it did. The buyer stepped in and pushed this all the way up. Letting you know we got some buyers right there in that area. Right? Okay, that's monthly. Let's look at weekly. I'm putting this on the weekly chart because I can see these swing points pretty clearly on Google. Man, Google back in the day used to be volatile. Super volatile. I shouldn't say super because nobody's bad as SPX, but so here's what we got going on right here. All right. This is a weekly price point up here, 170.44. It's the one that I just put in there. So if we were going to chart this per our usual standard way of charting, I will do leg in, 2 on the base, leg out, because that is a clearer formation pattern me. Then I will come down here and see this as a buyer zone, or at least a potential buyer zone. Right? Now there's a couple different ways this could have been charted. I'm pretty sure some people would have went here with this. Not illegal. Not illegal. I just figured because this is so high, this middle candle is so high and so much larger than this out candle on that particular formation, I would much rather go to what looks like a stronger leg out for me, number one. But number two, I wouldn't have a problem with just considering this one revisit. And you can also include this neighboring candle in that zone as well for your seller zone. That's how I would look at that. So for me, I'm looking at this as this price for Google is sitting right between sell zones, buyer zone. I'm just looking to see if, so Google has earnings coming up on 10/29. That is in 11 days. 11 days. All right. So I definitely would be careful, especially when it comes to any type of news dealing with tech. Let's see what the options chain got to say. I don't know if I'll be doing it for today, but there ain't really too many premiums. 74% out the money. I don't know about that one, cuz. So if you're gonna mess around with Google, now you're probably talking about trying to, I don't know if you want to mess around with getting too close to earnings, which is what you would have to do. Trying to mess around with these jokers. This is a 2.5 spread right now. This is 78% out the money. If I am going to be doing the put credit spread. And 32 cents on 20 on 2.5 spread. So 32 cents on $250 collateral. That is more than 10%. Turn on collateral. This thing keeps switching on me. Oh, I don't have the numbers matching. So 160 would be in here. That'll be under that support. Is where that would be. And above it, so that'll be 160, 157.5 for the put credit spread. This is 78% out the money over here, going above price, almost 80%. Return on collateral. This looks nice. It looks like a potential iron condor opportunity. Again, is getting closer to earnings. Now, here's what would concern me about this. If I was trying to get in, this formation that I'm seeing. Don't know what we're doing here, boss. But if I'm looking at this with a pole going from south to north and the highs are getting lower, the lows are about the same. I guess we could be looking at a bullish wedge. Since it's coming from this direction, highs are getting lower. Lows are about the same. I'll be looking at a bullish wedge, at least putting that on the list of possibilities in terms of formations. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. But we got the makings of something happening, maybe even a little channel sitting in there. But if I'm looking at this for iron condor, if I went for expiration for next week, I'm probably going to end up closing each side early anyway, because I don't want to be involved with earnings. No. Can't trust it. All right. So that's what I'm looking at. You're looking at 2.5 spread total. Believe that ended up being at least $60 for iron condor. Obviously, this is going to depend on when you get in and things of that nature. We're looking at it. We're looking at the numbers while we still got a push going on this morning, but the potential is definitely there. Let's look at triple Q. And see what happens here. Look at the zones on the daily chart for triple Q. Solid. I rarely get to see zones this solid. So right here, leg in, base, leg out. Then this one will be leg in, base, leg out. We are on the daily chart looking at this. And I literally can just take these off. Yellow is from the weekly price points. So this is a zone on top of another zone. That's what I'm seeing there. And it is trying to push its way into seller zone. And it is doing a great job of consistently pushing up. This is the high, as you would say, all-time high or recent high, however you want to say it. I'm going to change this just because I'm going to move this up here. We're going to distinguish these two. This is the zone that it's currently in. Is this one right here. Leg in, base, leg out. Is the one that is currently in. I don't know what I would do with this one. I'll be watching this. The banks have already reported. So I guess that's one less thing to take off the plate to be worried about. But we do still have those 2-star events that are occurring. This is so close together with these buyer zones and seller zones that I don't know. I would definitely be keeping an eye on it. I'm not assuming. I guess some people do triple Q1 DTE. If you're doing a one spread for today, 13 cents. Going for today's expiration, 13 cents on $100 collateral for put credit spread. 492, 491. It's under here. We'll be in this area. $492, $491. Yeah, you'd be down there in that area. I don't know. I feel like this would be, if I was already in this one, I guess I would be okay with it as long as my probability out the money was at least 80%. And I am under current price. But I still would be giving it time before I got in just to be on the safe side. Just a tad bit more time. But you're looking at 13 cents, which is $13, collecting $13 on $100 collateral. So that's how I'll be looking at that. And that's if we're doing for one DTE. All right. But in terms of what I see right here, definitely zone on zone. So feel like something is likely to happen. All right. The squeezing together right there. So there's been no breakout on SPX. And there has been what looks like it's trying to do something. It's trying to move on down. Right there. We'll see what ends up happening with them. All right. Educator to trader, the number 2. Educator to trader. If you are interested in joining our membership, come on and join. Come on and join the membership. Go to educatortotrader.com. We have a very what you could say collaborative is the word I would use. Community of people, everybody helps each other. Nobody wants to see anybody else losing. That is very difficult to find in life in general. Everybody's trying to make sure that we all get the bag. So that is very that definitely helps out the process, man. When you have another set of eyes looking at your trade to help you out, that is invaluable. So educator2trader.com. Go ahead, join the membership. Don't forget to click like for today's stream. Janae, the Mancini numbers are in the group. They are there currently. Just in case. I'm being proactive by letting Janae know before she say, post the numbers again. All right. All right. So I don't see any more tickers. I see Google. I see Triple Q. We looked at SPY, Russell, SPX, the only ones that's left. Some of the ones we looked at earlier this week to see how they are doing. We also have PLTR, which is Palantir. So we go look at Palantir as well. It's down. All right. So this is NVIDIA. I keep trying to tell people, man, people keep reporting like NVIDIA is going to slow down because of AI and all this other stuff. I beg to differ. They got too much stuff going on in too many different industries with their chips. It's not going to be like that, in my opinion. This is another potential zone on top of zone type formation. The way this is looking, this broke past its recent high as well for NVIDIA. Yeah, man. Matter of fact, we'll even clean up the garbage on here just so you can see it going this way. All right. We're going to take a look at PLTR, who is always staying in the news for getting government contracts. Trying to figure out what this is that I'm seeing on here. All right, for NVIDIA here. We got this happening. Be aware of that gap right there. That is occurring in this 136, 137 area. And then this next one below it is still a little bit, there's a little bit left to fill there. Not a whole lot, but definitely enough. All right. Yeah, Palantir getting that government money. I'm like, oh, so their money is not considered a welfare check, though. Isn't that crazy how that works? That money is not considered a welfare check, though. All right. Here's what we got for Palantir. We must have looked at this earlier in the week, I believe. Yes, I remember this being a chair we had to figure out. So this is in between zones. So this is still deciding what it wants to do. Obviously, we have not, let's see. Where is the? Oh man, you got to go back a ways to January of 21 to find its high. Okay, so we would have to do some scrolling back, but it is not that far from its high as well. Got it. So what I'm seeing right here is now I don't know. I'm assuming somebody will be going a week out for Palantir. I did. So yeah, I must have got into this the last time we charted it. About 77% is what I would expect Arlissa Pinkleton to be okay with. So that would be $8 on 50-cent spread. I wouldn't be able to do that trade with this because it would overlap on this leg. But if we went above this, and we're looking at something like a one spread, that's 12 cents right there. So that is a little over 10% return on collateral is what that would be. And that's if we're going out 1 week for Palantir. And I remember when Palantir's price was like not that high. So they have been ramping up. Let's see, what is this? 23? Yeah. 2023. I remember when they were over here in the $15 range. So they have been steady climbing. And I believe didn't they get added to the Dow Jones? Was it the Dow Jones? So the thing to pay attention to for Palantir would be this $40.29. Very strong reaction of buyers right there. So just keep that in mind. All right. But you're definitely looking at least 10%, over 10% return on collateral for next week expiration is what I'll be looking at. SPX has not broken out of its cage yet. And look at what it has been trying. It's right here. And got turned around. So we technically do not have a breakout yet for either one of those. So what we're going to do, swing around and make sure we got our follow up on our, currently the Dow Jones is 0.34% down. The S&P 500 is up 0.17%. NASDAQ is up 0.59%, and Russell 2K is up 0.20%. The VIX is dropped a little lower, 2.77%. It is at 18.56. Because I know somebody may be interested. Let's take a peek. Yeah. So this happened this morning. Buyer's Gap, Netflix, broke right past its previous high. It has been on a run up anyway. So can't say I'm not that surprised that it did it the way it did it. So That's something to watch. $761. $761.91. It has run up. So we had a nice little gap up. This is, my goodness, $32. $32 worth, somewhere in there. So since this is a buyer's gap, I would expect this to come back and, bounce, tap that at least once. I don't think that's just going to blow right through there real quick. So I would definitely be watching that. I would not be trying to do a call credit spread on it. I know that. Not I. I would definitely be looking at a put credit spread if that was me. Somewhere in the 730 range. 730. Right. This is providing support right now. Of course, I'll be watching to see what happens throughout the day. But this is around the time I start investigating entries, depending on what I'm looking at getting in. But this provided a buyer zone for us right here. So at least we know what that is. All right, let's swing on over to our E2T daily declaration. By faith, I am a successful trader. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I make smart, lucrative decisions for my portfolios. Money likes me. Because money is comfortable around me, it is drawn to me. I see a question. Why these stocks gap? I see a lot of gaps looking. So to answer this question, gaps can be caused by just about anything, as far as I'm concerned. But at the end of the day, whenever a gap is occurring, that means that you're seeing a rush of orders in one direction that may not register in terms of a candle yet. So a gap up just means that there's so many orders came in that it created a gap, almost like a vacuum, you could say. And so sometimes, like, I see them a lot overnight, but they don't just occur overnight. But the main gaps that I see are these larger gaps. So let me go this route. Clean this off. So this is a daily chart. So I'll see, let's say this one is a really obvious one. So there's certain gaps that are really obvious, like these, that could be tied to earnings. So usually I'll check to see if this is occurring every 3 months. And sometimes that'll be attributed to earnings. But it's just a rush of orders that come in and push the price in one direction or another. And that rush of orders ends up creating a gap. And that gap can act as support or resistance. And it can go in both directions, up or down. Netflix has a tendency to gap. Tesla is another one. So sometimes earnings can cause it. Sometimes news can cause it. It just depends on what it is causing it. But it's literally just a surge of orders that's happening. So that's the obvious gaps that we see in here, the ones that show up big. But then in between these, you also have what I would classify as like smaller gaps. So when a price closes at one point, This is Tesla. So this is May 7th of 24. This closed at 177.81. The next day, this candle down here, which would be 5/8, it opened at 174.72, right? So 177.81, 174. So that's a $3 drop. It's not as drastic, or may not show up on the chart like the other one did, but in between different candles, you'll also see some of those same kind of gaps. And again, depending on, I see it the most on SPX as an example. So this is the 4-hour. This is the 4-hour chart for SPX. So something like this, where you'll see, if it closed here and then gapped up to this next candle, as an example, this will be a gap until it's filled, depending on where the close and the open is. So from the close to the open, that's how we determine where the gap is. But there's a lot of this happening on the 4-hour. This is just a 4-hour for SPX, but you'll be able to see a lot more gaps happening. That's just a rush of orders. That's all that is. Providing support and resistance until it gets filled. The more volatile the stock is, you may see more gaps happening in either direction. But yeah, that's where those gaps are coming from. And certain tickers around earnings, you'll see them having a reaction that could be a gap, right? Our E2T daily prayer. Lord, give us wisdom for our trades today. Help us to make smart and lucrative decisions for our portfolios. All righty, everybody. We want you to stay green, get this money. Have a great trading day. We will see you all on, I believe we should still be on for Sunday. If not, I don't know what our listeners' current traveling schedule is. If not, we will be seeing you on Monday for our live YouTube broadcast on Monday morning. All right. You all have a good one, and thank y'all for hanging out. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. Thank y'all so much.